Our historic home has a lot of great features, but the plywood floors in the upstairs bedroom addition definitely weren't one of them. We painted the plywood floors as a temporary solution, but we always planned on installing hardwoods in this space to match the rest of the house. I've been looking for a premium hardwood flooring product to install in the bedroom, and when I saw the quality and durability of Malibu Wide Plank flooring, I knew we'd found the perfect solution. After we moved everything out of the space, it was time to begin a little prep work. We removed all the quarter round from the edges of the old flooring, then swept all the dirt and debris off of the old plywood flooring. Next, we taped flooring spacers along one side of the room to get ready to install the hardwood planks. Because we live in an older home, the walls aren't symmetrical, so it was important to drop a chalk line to make sure our first row of boards was completely straight. The boards have a tongue and groove design, which makes them so easy to install. We lined up the first board along the chalk line and nailed the plank in place using a nail gun. Then we nailed the first row of hardwood planks along the chalk line as a foundation row for the rest of the room. Now that the first row was installed, it was time to install our Malibu Wide Plank flooring in the bedroom. These planks are absolutely beautiful. I chose the Pacific Grove French oak that has the prettiest grain pattern. The color matches the hardwoods in the rest of the home, and I love how the wide planks look in the room. The width of the planks makes the room look so spacious, and the clarity of the grain patterns in the flooring are next level. At the end of a row of planks, it was necessary to make cuts so the planks fit. We measured the length of the end piece of planking, then cut the wood with a miter saw. After the piece of flooring was laid in place, we secured it in place using a tapping bar and a rubber mallet and nailed the plank in place. We made sure to stagger the planks when we installed them so the boards were laid in a diagonal pattern. To prevent nails from showing, we nailed the planks on the edge of the bottom of the groove before we installed the next row. When we came to the final row of flooring on the back wall, it was necessary to rip a few final planks with a table saw to fill in the last gap in the flooring. Next, we installed the threshold that connected the bedroom floor with the hallway. We cut 2 pieces of red oak to help bridge the gap in the flooring, and then nailed a transition piece on top to finish the threshold and installed 2 additional transition pieces under the closet doors. Choosing hardwoods is such a great option because solid hardwood floors like these are highly durable and water resistant. These hardwood floors can be resanded, restained, and refinished. The entire plank is French oak, which makes it possible to update or restain these floors in the future. Look at the difference these hardwood floors make in the room. The entire project not only updated the space, but increased the value of our home, and now the bedroom looks like home. Thanks to Malibu Wide Plank for sponsoring this video.
I am excited to share with you today my flooring transformation with Malibu Wide Plank. As you can see, we're doing a little prep work to begin. I've removed the furniture. I'm dusting. The next thing you're going to want to do is remove the doors. Since I am floating this over the existing floors, I am having to cut all the doors down. The other thing that I didn't plan on doing, but I ended up doing, is removing the baseboards. Check out this hardwood, 3mm engineered hardwood flooring in the color Grandview. Before you start, one thing that you're going to need to do is drop a chalk line and put a temporary straight piece of wood. The reason you do this is you don't want to rely on a wall to keep your board straight, because lots of times walls aren't straight. So starting, what you're going to do is you're going to put your first board up against that wood piece and just sliding them into place. You can see when you get to an end of a row, I'm using a miter saw to make those cuts. And then, as you can see, I'm using PVA Carpenter's wood glue on all the butt ends. And also make sure to keep a 3/4 of an inch expansion space, and you can see I'm using a black spacer to keep that space. I am using a mallet, but you do need to be careful with the ends because the ends can be brittle. You can see here, once you finish the one row, you just move on to the next row. I am carefully placing the tongue and groove wood boards together. You are going to come into situations where you have to make some funny cuts. There's a couple different ways to do it. I chose to make my own little template. Once I got my template made, I used a jigsaw to cut a perfect template to slide under that door frame. When you start a flooring project like this, you need to start from and install it from the left to the right with the tongue side towards the wall with the groove side facing out from the wall. And you can see this is what I'm doing. And when I started, I'm pulling from at least 3 different boxes to make sure there is a variation in the color, just in case one of the boxes is a little tiny bit of a different tone than the other. I am using blue painter's tape. Every 4 or 5 rows, I'm laying blue painter's tape because I am floating this floor. It helps to hold it together as the glue is drying. Once you've laid the whole room, you're going to pull up that temporary piece of molding. You're going to put your last piece of flooring in, and then look at your new floor, guys. It's stunning. Once that room was done, I moved on to our master bedroom. And because I am doing multiple rooms and we are living in this space, what I did was I emptied one room out, laid the floor, waited 24 hours. You need to wait 24 hours to put the furniture back on the floor. So once I moved the furniture back to the room after 24 hours, I moved on to the next room. You can see with this room, I started the same way as I did with the first room, which is start from the left side and move to the right. One other thing I want to talk about is you want to make sure to keep a minimum stagger of 6 inches between the inseams from row to row. This flooring features an antique finish and staining process with far more vivid color and depth that accents each piece. This process brings out the natural beauty and texture of the premium hardwood to create its elegant wire-brushed surfaced visual. Another thing I want to touch on is the underlayment. This flooring does require an underlayment or a moisture barrier. Now, because I'm laying it over top of my existing luxury vinyl planks, and they are waterproof, the LVP is acting as my underlayment. And once I finished the bedroom, I moved on to my living room, and I was easily able to finish this since these were long runs. And guys, here is the finished product. Overall, I am more excited about my floor than I ever thought I would be, and I'm smitten at how easy it was to install. The other cool thing about this rich and thick 3mm French oak veneer is that it can be resanded and refinished. Y'all, this flooring is gorgeous. Thanks again to Malibu Wide Plank for my new flooring and sponsoring this video.